Hi, Clip here again. I apologize. In lesson 2, when I was just about to go through all the don'ts, I got a notification on my phone which stopped the recording. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna go have a shower and do all that jazz before I continue again. So where we left off was the don'ts of your conscious body, and what we have, number 1, is don't feed your consciousness with rubbish, and what we classify as rubbish, and why is it so important that you don't. And one of the things you have to remember is your body and your consciousnesses of your body, your subconscious, your conscious mind, and everything. You're a giant computer, or your body is like literally a computer, and it's being programmed. So if you're programming it with negativity, then you will find that you will live a life of negativity. So what are the main places that you don't want to go, or that you want to watch out for, or limit your viewing or your focus to these things? And because they are all, even if you think that, like, oh, but I hear nice stories from these, or you know, it's a way for me to keep up with everything. Although that may be true in a smaller percentage, but in the bigger percentage of what that avenue is doing for you, that piece of information, it has a much higher negative impact than it does the positive. So, social media. That's one that you want to stay away from. 2, TV programming. So under TV programming, that's the news, just the media in general. We'll start with those ones, but these ones are the things you want to stay away from. And again, it's because social media, although you are, again, connecting with friends, family, and, you know, various people around the world, and you may be having some really good conversations, and it's also a really good way to network and get your message out and do all that. And however, it's promoted like that. Many people use it like that, but that's just the surface. It's like the dark web, if anything, where Google is just the shallow parts, but that's like only the tip of the iceberg. The dark web is like where all of the real stuff happens and goes on. Social media is like that. You're seeing the surface of what it's doing. And what you're gaining from it, but it's a massive distraction tool. Massive distraction to you, and to the point where, you know, and we all know that there's some teenagers who literally their necks are now down because they're on their phone so much, and that is a result of social media. And always being connected and always being there. And what you don't realize is that every ad that you see, even if you don't click on it, it's doing something to you. It is programming a part of your brain. It's reinforcing a certain message. And it's a way that a lot of misinformation can be spread and be labeled as fact as well. So again, that's how it's altering your thinking. And a lot of the same is for TV programming and news media. However, when you are watching TV, or when you are watching the news, or you know, looking at magazines and reading the papers and everything like that, all of these avenues, you have to remember, they are not a collective group of thoughts from genuine individuals that can be vetted or have something great to say. It's all bought out and purchased. So what you're really getting is, you're not getting anything of value. You're getting, well, one, you're being sold to, and it's a way for propaganda to be spread and for you to believe it. For you to hear people in suits who look pretty, have a tan, and their hair and makeup's great, or they're these guys that, you know, they're in their suits and they sound all very professional, and it's a way to make you believe the bullshit. So again, they're very negative, and the more you wake up, the more you're going to be able to see through all of the bull twaddle that these forms of information, what they actually are. So don't feed your mind rubbish. That's what you don't. You want to limit the amount of time you are devoting to these sources of information. And that includes some certain books as well. You know, like you don't want to be reading books that all it does is put you in a really negative, really sad, really poor state of mind. No matter how compelling the story may be, if it is a very, very heart-wrenching, sad, depressing story that you're reading, it's not going to be triggering the feelings that you need to tell the universe, hey, I want good things in my life. You're basically, your thoughts are on the words, and you're imagining the story, and you're feeling the feelings at the same time. So you're basically telling the universe, sadness is what I want right now. So you don't want that. You just generally don't want that. So you don't want any of that. And we're going to use the example of programming as well. But that's number one. So don't feed your mind with rubbish. Number two is you don't want to program in negative behavior. So when you are telling yourself, so don't program negative behaviors. Okay, so negative behaviors, what can we actually get from that? Negative behaviors would be self-depreciation. There's so many, and us as a society, we are terrible at this. We rip on ourselves all the time. Women especially. We always say, hey, we're not, like, well, guys would be like, you know, like, oh, I'm not ripped enough. Or I'm not getting, I suck, you know, I don't get anywhere in life. I don't get anywhere in work. For women, it's normally, oh, I don't look the way I want to look. Or I just don't, I'm not worth being nice to because I'm so horrible. Or when you say I'm such a horrible person, or I'm such a bitch, or I'm such an asshole, I'm such this, oh, I'm such an idiot. Those kinds of things, even if you're saying them in a form of jest, if you are continually saying these things, you are programming your conscious, your subconscious, through your conscious mind, you are programming yourself to believe that you are an idiot, to believe that you are not worthy, to believe that you are horrible, to believe all the negativity. You are programming it in, even though it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it now, but because when the time you actually need it, need to feel like you are whole, that you are worth it, you are everything, your brain will say, well, wait a second. You can't tell me that we're worth so much because you've told me that I'm an idiot over and over and over and over again for the last how many years. So this is why you can't program in negative behaviors, because remember, your body, your vehicle, understands what you're saying. So when you say, I am an idiot, it says, okay, well, we need to behave like what this person's definition of an idiot is, because that's what she wants, or that's what he wants. So you got to stop those things. And lastly, what you want to definitely do is, number 3, is you want to stay in the present. So don't focus, if we remember what focus is, don't focus on the past or the future. And another way that can be said is you need to live in the now, or the present. Okay, so live in the now. If you are focusing constantly on the past, that is you are creating, or for one, it means if you're focusing on the past too much, it means that your subconscious won't let you forget something, or that you didn't process emotions. If it's a negative loop cycle. However, if you're constantly one of those individuals that is always thinking, oh, I wish I did this. Oh, I could have done that. Oh, I wish I was like this again, or I wish I was like that again, or you're just constantly thinking back there. Maybe you constantly refer back to your childhood for everything. Like, oh, cereal's not the same way it was before. You know, it's like when you come up to those elderly individuals and, you know, they're always like, back in my day, back in my day, back in my day. An individual who is living in the past. Now, you don't want your conscious body to live in the past, because if you are living in the past, it means that you cannot move to the future. You cannot move to the present, or you cannot move forward. It's like, read a book, and as you get to page 10, then go back to page 1 and read it again. But then when you get to page 10 again, you're just going to go back to page 1. And you're going to read it, and you're going to go back, and you're going to go back, and you're going to go back, reminiscing all the time. The thing is, there's hundreds of pages in the book. And if you constantly think of page 1, you're always going to be in page 1. And it's going to be really difficult for you to move on, and you will limit yourself. Now, subsequently, if you are living too much in the future, it's the same thing. If your focus is always on the future, you've forgotten to live in the now. And it's also a way of stifling you, because it's especially in Western societies, we have this thing of, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I need to start being healthy, but I'm going to start fresh thing on the 1st of the month. Or, you know, or you're just like, I'm going to be great when I get that, when I land that next job. I'm going to be great when I have the house that I want. I'm going to be happy when I have the car that I want. I'm going to be happy when I have the husband or the boyfriend I want, or the girlfriend or whatever I want. So I'm just waiting till that time. And that's the problem with living in the future. You're always waiting. You're waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's almost, and what you're telling the universe is that, well, the thing is, you need action to get things done. And to make an action, or to do an action, you need to be in the present. You need to be now, here and now. You need to focus on what you're doing today, right now. Because if you're able to focus on your right now, that's where progress happens. It's like saying, I'm hungry. And you're like, okay, I am hungry. I'm going to cook something. And then you go down and you get to the kitchen and you're like, okay, I'm going to cook something. I'm going to cook something. And you walk around the kitchen and you keep saying, I'm going to cook something. But you can't be always going to cook something or going to eat something. You need to eat it. You need to cook it now. And you need to do that now, because that is how you are going to solve the problem of your hunger. You know? So, but I can't constantly be thinking about cooking or eating. I need to do it at some point in order to fulfill the needs of my body and my mind and nourish myself. So that's why you can't live in the future, because it does stifle you. It stops you from moving on it as well. So, and just remember, the past is a memory, the future is a thought. Now is all you have. And the concept of time and how it doesn't exist, I know it's hard to grasp, but it really, really is true. You're always in the now moment. It's just either light outside or it's dark outside. But you're always in the forever now. But as you climb up, you'll totally get it. So living in the now moment. Those are the things that you need to watch out for when it comes to the don'ts of your conscious mind. So again, we'll just recap on that. Don't fill your conscious mind with rubbish. You know, social media, TV, programming, and all of that kind of stuff. All you're doing is programming yourself to the agenda of some other individual. and it's hard to break. So limit your exposure to social media, TV, and so forth, and you will find that when you stop watching it and when you look inside and when you're taking care of yourself, you don't even want to watch it because it's all lies and you can just see the lies. It's terrible. Again, don't program yourself with negative behaviors. So self-depreciation, don't tell yourself that you are anything but the awesome individual that you are. You don't have to be arrogant with it. You can be awesome, but you can be humble at the same time. But you don't ever want to tell yourself that you are less than what you are. Okay. A good way to think about that is if you have your children, and I'm going to say your children because most people do love their children. And you don't want to tell yourself anything you wouldn't tell your child. So if you've got this beautiful baby boy or baby girl, the last thing you're going to tell them is, you're so stupid. You're so ugly. You're not pretty enough. You're fat. Like, of course you would. Or you're going to be like, you ain't going to be shit. I mean, you're going to be a plumber, or, which is silly because plumbers actually are wonderful individuals that are doing a trade that is absolutely fabulous. So I apologize. I shouldn't have used that as a reference. But, you know, like you're going to be, no, plumbers are freaking awesome. You're going to be something of unvalue. You wouldn't tell a kid that. So if you wouldn't tell a kid that, don't tell yourself that. That's all I got to say on that. And I'm really, really sorry if you are a plumber. I really, really do respect you. And that was a slip of the tongue. I'm very apologizing. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that is your conscious body don'ts. Alrighty. Stay forth for the next one that we have, which is we're going to be going through your emotional body. Now this one's a funny one. Alright, but it's good.